Hello YouTube, this is Mad Eye Yokai with another Friday the 13th the Game information video. The purpose of this video is to spread awareness to the community as a whole and inform the lucky few who are playing the game early who may not be aware of several changes that took place. Several topics will be addressed in this video, so feel free to choose a section you want to skip to, but hopefully there is some new information that will appeal to you. The information I'm providing came from discussions with Wes Keltner on the Friday the 13th Discord server over the past 2 weeks. So while these could slightly change prior to the release of the game, what my friends and I learned was pretty darn cool, and so I thought I'd share with y'all to get you guys psyched up before the release. First off, basics of the game. If you're just new to Friday the 13th, or you have no idea what the internet has been talking about for the past 5 months, don't worry, I got you covered. Friday the 13th the Game is an asymmetrical multiplayer horror game. 7 players are counselors, and 1 player is the legendary Jason Voorhees. Counselors must survive the night at Camp Blood by either calling the police, escaping via vehicle, hiding and avoiding Jason for a set time limit, or if they feel lucky, try to kill the legendary Jason himself and survive the night, although that's very ill-advised. To answer this question, yes, you can do 1v1s, although the game is more fun with more people, and private matches are possible and will give experience. What most people don't understand though is that the design of the game was meant for most people to die each match. This isn't Dead by Daylight, and it's not the type of game where the killer is going to die and survivors walk off into the sunset. An average Jason player is going to kill most, if not all, of the counselors each round. So rather than complain that Jason is OP and that he should be killable, go watch all of the Friday the 13th movies again. Every single one. And you'll notice that other than the final girl, most of the characters died in each film, except for this Joker. No idea how he survived, but he should have died in my opinion. Also, this game is meant to be played casually, and a great way to spend your Friday game nights with friends. This is not meant to be competitive MLG. Anyone can pick up this game and have fun. This is just to answer the age-old question of whether or not you could survive in a 1980s horror flick. Lots of memories are going to be made with this game, with a range from the good, to the funny, to the terrifying. And if you kill Jason, you're probably one of the lucky few to pull it off. When the developers of this game played, Jason died 1 out of 75 times. And that's when the developers were playing, and they knew this game in and out. And when asked if they were worried whether the game would change once people knew how to kill Jason, Wes calmly replied in Discord, "They are always one step ahead of us." So could Jason die in more than one way? Yeah, it's possible. We'll see. That's just my opinion, but I'm excited. Okay, let's talk changes. First off, vehicles. Unlike in the beta where players could see a map that displayed all of the locations of the vehicles at the beginning, players will no longer know how many vehicles or the types of vehicles available at the start. To find this out, players must naturally discover the vehicles themselves, or find a map item that will reveal where the vehicles are and the layout of the map. Boats are confirmed as an escape option, but they are randomly generated similar to the cabins. For example, some maps will only have 1 boat and a 4-seater car, and the same map in the next round could have 2 cars and 0 boats. But there will never be 2 boats, so in short, there will always be a land escape option, but not always a boat. And since maps won't be available at the start, using your walkie-talkie and working with your teammates will become crucial to survival. Alright, next up, stats. So if you guys watch my videos, I made a stats chart earlier to help people choose their character, but don't get bent out of shape with the numbers. I just made it for fun because I like art and I like Friday the 13th. But there are certain game mechanics working in the background to all of this I thought I would share with you and let you know. Speed and stamina, for example. First off, all of the counselors got an increase to stamina and speed. Although this may not seem to be reflected in their stats, a rating of 5 in the beta is different from a rating of 5 in the actual game. Also, think of stamina and speed as a balance, in that the larger your stamina rating, like Vanessa, the bigger your stamina pool. But the regeneration time to recuperate and replenish that stamina will take longer. Whereas a character with a low stamina pool may have a smaller amount of stamina, but will be able to regenerate that stamina much faster. So think of them as a short distance runner. A great example is Eric LaChapa. It's all balanced, so don't worry about it. But about running though, don't do it! Not unless you have to. According to Wes Keltner, running was overused way too much during the beta. And due to the changes in Jason's sensibility, if you start running around all over the place in the opening parts of a match, the Jason player will start seeing sound blips and morph right over to you. So unless you want to die quickly, don't run at the beginning of a match. Walk, crouch, jog, but only run if you're trying to get Jason's attention, or if he's right on you. Or if you just want to troll people for kicks and giggles, but I'm not promoting that. Composure. During the beta, you might remember your character losing their HUD or minimap display, causing your screen to turn black and white like a 1930s horror movie. This was meant to show a counselor's fear, and when their fear maxed out, they would lose their minimap display. In case you're wondering, composure is not based on how many seconds you can be around Jason. Composure is more like a tolerance level. The greater your composure, the more you can take before your character loses it and starts to panic. As your fear increases, you start tripping over things, you start mumbling, you start shaking, and your visibility decreases. That's when you lose your minimap. If you want to manage your fear and stay calm, here are some tips for you. Secure all doors. Turn your flashlight on. Stay on a walking path. Be around other players. Find or carry a weapon. Find or carry an objective item, such as gas, battery, or keys, etc. Heal yourself and stay unharmed, so, folks, use that med spray. What increases fear? Seeing a dead body, seeing Jason killed, getting injured, running off of a path or going into the woods, Jason shutting off the power while you're inside a cabin and you have no lights, Jason breaking windows and you seeing it, and getting in the water. And that right there, folks, is a summary of what increases your fear and decreases your fear. Moving on to luck. If you guys played the beta and have seen the photos, you'll notice that it says on the character screen that luck gives a slight boost to all of their stats. But let's dive a little deeper. What does that mean? If you choose a character with high luck like Chad, here's what happens. Your high luck rating decreases the amount of stamina consumed when performing a dodge while in combat stance, slightly increases the amount of stamina you receive after landing an attack on Jason, slightly increases the amount of stamina you receive after breaking free from Jason's grab, slightly reduces the amount of stamina you lose when blocking one of Jason's attacks, slightly reduces how often you stumble when your character is freaking out, slightly reduces the amount of noise you make, increases the amount of swings you can take before your weapon breaks, increases your chance to not take damage while climbing out of a broken window, and if your luck is low, it's the opposite. You're probably not going to get these sweet benefits. So in other words, luck is kind of like doing all the little things in a horror movie, and it just might increase your chances of survival. Alright, next up is knives. Now, as you guys saw from the Jason stats videos out there, Friday the 13th Jason Part 6 is the only Jason that starts with throwing knives and everyone else has to find them. There are around 20 knives in total, and they're stuck in places that Jason can reach but other counselors cannot. If you try to search for all of the knives, all of the counselors will escape, so don't do that. Find knives as you play. Once knives are thrown, they are gone. And knives have a 3-second cooldown, so you can't do, knife throws like an automatic machine gun. That just won't work. There are no one-hit kills with knives unless a character is super wounded and on the brink of death. Also, fun fact, the knives were designed very similar to Call of Duty Black Ops 2, so if you want to get good at them, study the drop and velocity. And that should help you, according to Wes. Alright, since we're on the topic of Jason and discussing his abilities, I want to bring back stalk into the mix. So, if you guys saw my stalk video, it's really short, I talk about stalk, but I found one cool feature that I haven't shared with you guys yet. So imagine Jason's using stalk and there are two counselors facing opposite directions. The counselor facing away from Jason will not hear the music. They're still under the effects of stalk, and they don't know Jason's behind them. But the counselor facing Jason will hear the Jason music. They have broken the stalk effect. So, what's the point of this? Basically, if you're Jason and you want to ambush a group of counselors, you can do it. Even if one person sees you, you can still go for that ambush and surprise a whole bunch of people. So while the element of surprise is great, you don't have to worry if only one person sees you. It's all good. Alright, next up is combat. Combat is kind of a last-ditch effort. The combat system is not advanced like in For Honor, so remember, we're playing as kids in the game. So if you absolutely have to fight Jason, go for it, but you're probably not going to win. And if you don't have any health boosters, it's going to take 3 whacks from Jason before you're dead. And even less if you're Tom Savini Jason. So I'm guessing 2. Regarding weapons though, flare guns are now considered weapons, so you can't put them in your inventory. If you pick up a flare gun, you may have to decide between a flare gun or an axe or a machete. And a shotgun blast to counselors, regardless of where you hit them, is an instant kill. So, folks, beware the trolls. Also, just to give you guys a little bit of hope, traps will trigger even if Jason gets rage, so traps should work better compared to the beta. And before I end this video, I have some final pieces of advice. Counselors, be sure to shut doors behind you when being chased, otherwise Jason can shift inside the cabin and be right beside you as you're closing the door. Also, working together and escaping within the first 10 minutes before Jason gets stalk and rage is a good idea, because the longer a match draws out, the less likely you are to survive. Rage is a passive ability that reduces the cooldowns of Jason's abilities, allows him to one-shot doors and barricades, and makes him basically unstoppable. So hurry up and get the heck out of Dodge and Camp Crystal Lake. Now to Jason players, If you stand still with stalk active, it lasts much more than 20 seconds. If you're walking or shifting, you burn through it so much faster. So don't use stalk until you're close to the target destination or your target kill. And the last piece of news to end this video, a common topic that Wes brought up in Discord was how the game was designed that you could do anything. So play the game as no one would expect you to, whether you're a Jason player or a counselor. You'll get a lot more laughs and scares that way, and you'll enjoy the game that much more. That's all I have for today, but if you liked the video, I'd appreciate if you could leave a like, share it with your friends, leave a comment, and don't forget to check out my website, madeyegames.com, for upcoming tips and survival guides once the game is released. Thanks for watching, have a good night, and I'll see you all at Camp Blood on May 26th.